Okay, we're going to show you how to program a Macnaught ERA register. This is a digital register that fits on our pulse meters, and it has a few functions which I'll go through first. We can either, with our select button, we can press to go between our accumulated total and our flow rate. Our clear button we can press and it'll bring up the press to clear your total, and you press it twice and that will clear that total. The three buttons are your program and enter key, your select and your increment, and your clear and your write key. So to get into the program function, we press and hold down the program key for about 7 seconds, and this will take us into the program function. You'll see the display changes to setup, and it has a 1 and it reads total. Now the total function, there's two functions inside this register, and one is your total and the other one is your accumulative, which will be the next function. So we'll start with the total. We press the select function or the select key, and that will increment up to chapter 1.1 and the unit, and up in the top right hand corner has a little L, so that means that the unit for the function here is litres. We press the up key and it'll go to chapter 1.2, and that's your decimals. Now we're going to set this register up for a 050 or a 2-inch meter. It has a K factor of 6.68, and we don't want to have any decimals, so I'll leave that to 0 decimals. We press the select key and it'll go to 1.3, and that's your K factor. The K factor for a 2-inch meter is 6.68. At the moment we have 8. So to change this, we press the program key, and you can see the left hand digits flashing. So what we need to do is move across until we can get and make this read 668. So I press the middle key and that will increment it up till I get to 6. I move across 1 digit, increment till I get to 6, and then I leave the last one as 8. I enter that, and that's my K factor. Now I need to make that read 6.68. So to do that, I go to the next function, which is 1.4 is the decimals for my K factor, and I need to make that 2. So I press my program key, I increment that by 2, so it's 2 decimal points. I enter that, and that stores that into the memory. We press the select key to go back to 1. Now I need to just check that I have entered everything correct, so I'll go back through my select key, go to 1.1 is litres, 1.2 is 0 decimals, 1.3 is 668, 1.4 is 2 decimal points, and then back to chapter 1. We'll go to chapter 2 by pressing the right hand button. Chapter 2 is the flow rate. Now for this flow rate we need to set in what the same functions as we've just done, but it's for the flow rate side of the register. So we do this by going up 1, so it's 2.1 is unit. We have litres in the bottom right hand corner. Chapter 22 is the time, is the litres per minute. Press the select key. 23 is your decimals, don't want any decimals, so it's all zeros. 24, we need to change the K factor to 6.68, so as we did previously, we press the program key. This will be this digit flashing. We need to move along and make it read 6.68, so we move along until we get to that. We'll make that 6. Make the second digit read 6. Now 668, we enter that in a memory. We move to chapter 25, and we need to make that read 2. So press the program key, we press the up key and make that read 2, and we save that in memory. We'll go to chapter 26, and that is the pulses. We'll leave that at 10, that's the default. Your cutoff time is 30 seconds. That means if the register doesn't see any change in the pulse inputs, it will go to 0. We'll leave that at 30 as the default. And we're back to chapter 2. So we'll go back through that and check everything that we've done. So pressing the select key, we go 21 is unit litres in the bottom. The time is litres per minute for the flow rate. 23 is no decimals. 24 is 668, so that's will be 6.68. 25 is 2 decimals. 26 is 10 is the default. 27 is 30 for the cutoff time, that's the default, we'll leave that. Back to chapter 2. We go to chapter 3. Chapter 3 is display. We'll go into chapter 3, so 3.1 is the function, is the total, and we leave that as that. We go to chapter 4 is PowerMan, and in PowerMan we program in the update time for the display. So this at the moment set for 1 second is the default. We'll leave that. If we want a faster update, we'll change that, but we won't, we'll leave it at 1. 4.2 is the battery mode. Now in battery mode we want it in operate, but if we were going to store the register for any time, we will put it into safe mode, and that's by going through the enter, but we'll leave it at operate. Back to chapter 4, we'll move to chapter 5, the flow meter. This is where we program in the input from the flow meter to the register, and in this case we're going to make it read LP, and that's the low pass filter for the read. So we'll go into 51. At the moment it's set for a hall sensor LP, so we need to change to read LP, and we press the program, we press the up, and there's the read. Press it again, there's my read LP, we'll enter that in program, and then we're back to the beginning. I'll just check that I've entered that correctly. 51 is read LP, and back to chapter 5. If I press my right hand button, it'll go to chapter 6. Chapter 6 is where we program in the analog output for this register, and we'll go through. So we press our select. We need to enable the function. Now if I go into the options for this, you can either have enable or disable. So it needs to be enabled, so we can leave it at that, save that in the memory. 62 is the rate minimum. So for my 4 milliamps I want 0 flow rate. 63 is my rate maximum. So for a 2-inch or a 050 meter, it's going to be 500 litres a minute. So I need to program in the 500, and this one's already been set. If I need to change that, it's just a matter of pressing the program button, moving along to my digits that I need to change, increment them to what it needs to be, which I'll change this back to 5, and then press your store, and there's my 500. So that's 500 litres a minute is my 20 milliamps output. My 64 is going to be your 0 is your cutoff, so we'll leave that. 65 is my tune minimum. Now this is where you tune in your 4 milliamps. So what you'll do is you'll get your flow rate to 0, isolate a valve, and then you will change this value until you get your 4 milliamps to come up on your data system. 66 is where we tune the maximum. So if you find that at maximum flow rate you're only getting about 480 litres. This is where you'll change by incrementing or decrementing this value until you get to the value of 20 milliamps for your maximum flow rate. 67 is your filter is set to 0, and we're back to chapter 6 again. We go to chapter 7 is for the pulse output. Chapter 8 is your communications, 9 is your others, and we're back to chapter 1. That is how you program an ERA Macnaught Digital Register.